It is that time of the month again, ladies and gentlemen. Time for the April recap. A relatively short, and I say that with quotation marks, where I bring you up to speed on what has happened in the world of gaming in the past month. Remember, this is just what I personally consider relevant, but if there is anything you'd like me to cover for the next month's recap, feel free to send it my way over on Twitter at Asterion_. And with all that said, these are the headlines. Evo Japan acknowledges its big comeback was flawed and promises to do better next time. Evo Japan 2023 took place from the 31st of March to the 4th of April. It was the first in-person Evo held in the country since 2020. This is the world's premier fighting game competition, and it was hosted at Tokyo Big Sight, so hopes were understandably high. But unfortunately, they were met with disappointment. Numerous problems ranging from lack of staff, a cramped venue, disorganization over brackets in some games which led to enormous downtime between matches, and many complained about setups being laggy. There was some skepticism about this last issue, as there were people who thought players were just being salty about losses. But Evo general manager Richard confirmed that technical issues. Evo has also issued an apologetic statement, acknowledging issues and promising to do better in the future. For now, I do agree with the sentiment that fans should cut the organizers some slack. Adjusting to our new post-COVID reality, tighter budgets, and picking up after 3 years away is easier said than done. Every events company seems to be struggling right now, so I guess we'll have to wait and see if the lessons from this year were something the organizers learned from. Player mutiny forces 19-year-old MMO to retract new pay-to-rate feature 2 weeks after announcing it. After nearly 20 years from its release, EverQuest 2 got a new system. MMO Bomb reported that the devs at Daybreak introduced the Personal Treasure Unlocker. And you may wonder what this new system did. Well, it allowed players to reset the loot lockout timers on the game's bosses, effectively making it so that you could get as many chances at rare drops as you wanted, instead of having to wait the default 18 hours. As long as you had the money for it. Understandably, players immediately rebelled. The forum thread announcing the system had almost only negative responses. It was a massive disaster, which is why a developer announced the system would be scrapped 2 weeks after it was announced. Another cautionary tale for greedy devs. I can understand that keeping a very old MMO sustainable in 2023 is very difficult. But it is also difficult to think how nobody thought this could possibly go wrong. Unfortunately, as a skeptic that I am, I can see some other devs from other companies actively picking up on that idea. I mean, they brought back the real money action house for Diablo Immortal, even after the disaster that Diablo 3 was at launch, and releasing a $70 game with a battle pass and a store in the form of Diablo 4. But that is something to discuss another day. Fortunately, for EverQuest 2 players, their passionate feedback was heard, and now devs are looking to create better communication channels with their player base, like a new forum, where they'll be able to propose changes and vote on fixes and balance, which I would consider a good step in the right direction. But there is no specific launch date, and they only stated it would arrive in the near future. After complaints about quote-unquote free Ark Survival Evolved upgrade being sold in a $50 bundle with Ark 2, it'll now be in a separate bundle for $60. The Ark Survival Ascended upgrade turned out not to be free as promised. This had fans rightfully fuming after an announcement stating that it was going to release in a $50 bundle with Ark 2. Studio Wildcard says that it has digested the feedback and has presented a revised plan. In a community update, the studio said it will instead release the Unreal Engine 5 remaster as a standalone package with several DLC upgrades at launch, with more to come without additional cost. But it will now be priced at $60. Now, I am no science hippie, but that seems to be $10 more. They explained that originally they were only planning on doing a port of the Switch version and undoing the graphical limitations for that particular piece of hardware, without maximizing the potential of the new tech, introducing new gameplay, or making any critical design changes. Now, it is set to include new creatures, items, structures, and more content that wasn't in the original game, as well as features like NVIDIA DLSS support and a photo mode. Studio Wildcard insists that they weren't trying to mislead fans with earlier statements about it being a free update, that it was just a change in plans and overall intentions. But it is difficult to understand how charging $60 for the remaster instead of $50 will appease players who were upset because they were told it would be free. It's a very strange line of thought, really. People hate we are charging $50 for the free update, Huey. And they're right! We should charge more! And with the added bonus that since the base game is not being upgraded so as to not invalidate saves, the studio, in all of their wisdom and benevolence, will shut down Ark Survival Evolved official servers on August 31st. They say that those servers are old technology and require significant development and time to operate and maintain, some of which have issues which would need an overall upgrade. Luckily, saves will be available for unofficial use to help diminish the loss for players. Ark Survival Ascended is planned to release at the end of August with around 7 pieces of DLC and all of the community-created maps. The next headline will be a sort of 2+1 deal. What a deal! Resident Evil 4 actor strikes back at harassers. Not the first time an actor of color faces racist and sexist harassment for simply participating. Lily Gao, the voice of Ada Wong in the Resident Evil 4 remake, who previously wiped her Instagram due to continued harassment, returned to the platform. She hit back at abusive critics with a post saying that while criticism is expected, it's not the first time an actor of color faces racist and sexist harassment for simply participating. She also comments on how it is time we stop only capitalizing on the sexualized, eroticized, and mysterious Asian woman and make space to honor every kind of Asian woman. And personally, I couldn't agree more with her. While it is valid to have criticisms of a person's work, harassing someone on their personal social media because you're having yet another iconic gamer moment is not okay. Again, this is your monthly reminder to go out and touch some grass. It's also nice seeing how this is being less tolerated. Behavior like this, unfortunately, is not rare, and Metacritic even sees huge homophobic review bombing campaigns. Which is why now Metacritic promises stricter moderation to tackle abusive and disrespectful user reviews. Changes are expected to come in the following months. Someone built a NES that could probably murder you. A retro gaming enthusiast has combined his love of retro consoles with his expertise in 3D printing and robotics to create something diabolical. From the creator of the world's fastest Roomba, Electrosync now presents the Nestroyer. A repurposed NES console shell with a fully mobile circular saw-equipped combat robot inside. Try saying that again 5 times in a row as fast as you can. I recommend giving the original video a watch over on his channel, link is in the description below, to witness the full potential of the Nestroyer and a nice documentary of how it was made. It's always nice to see we still have mad scientists running around creating death robots just because they can. Unfortunately for the Sega Master System, this might mean terrible news, as they are next in the menu. Bowser, released from prison, still has to pay Nintendo $10 million. Gary Bowser, a man sentenced to 3 years in prison for going full Nintendo villain for his role in a Nintendo Switch hack-selling scheme, has been released early. Unfortunately for him, he will have to pay Nintendo a portion of whatever income he makes every month for a very long time as part of a $10 million settlement. He was arrested back in 2020 in the Dominican Republic and was one of 3 people who developed and sold devices to hack video game consoles, among them the Nintendo Switch. He pleaded guilty to federal criminal charges in 2021 and by December of that same year agreed to pay Nintendo $10 million to settle a civil lawsuit. So far, he has paid Nintendo back $175, with money he earned while working in prison. It is unlikely Nintendo will ever see the full amount. He is 53 and has health issues that limit his mobility. Luckily for him, a Canadian, he will have access to healthcare and disability insurance once he returns to Canada, which might also help him avoid a $4.5 million fine. You'd think this would serve as a cautionary tale, telling people to not mess with Nintendo, and yet Nintendo is currently demanding Discord reveal the Zelda Tears of the Kingdom leaker. Nintendo's lawyers are famous for not forgiving, and most of all, not forgetting anything or anyone. CSGO player destroys entire opposing team with single 1 in a fucking billions miracle shot. Before I start, here's the video spotted by Games Radar on the Global Offensive subreddit.
Nice.
Grab the op.
AK or op?
Grab the op, grab the op.
Grab the op. I'll take that.
Nah, give it to me, I'll give you AK. Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna go be with this.
Let's go, let's go, let's go! Flashbang. Grenade out.
Whoa! Oh my god! Oh my god! Holy shit! Holy shit! Oh my god! What the shit?
If you're not sure what just happened, what kind of witchcraft or devil pact you just witnessed, let me break it down for you. CSGO player Spike pulled off the impossible. A single shot from the op sniper rifle killing every single enemy player on the opposing team. While skepticism abounds, one can't believe this was not staged. The reactions seem entirely genuine, and the Counter-Strike community seems to be taking this one seriously. Right now, the video has over 20,000 upvotes on Reddit and a wide collection of Reddit awards. This random once-in-a-lifetime event is made even rarer by the fact that one shot would not have been enough to kill the entire enemy team. This happened because they had already damaged the enemy players with a couple of grenades that just grazed them. Right now, Counter-Strike is making waves on the internet not just because of this, but because of the surprise announcement of Counter-Strike 2, which heralds the next installment of one of the most popular PC games, which will be coming soon, for free, and all your stuff will carry over to the new game. It's amazing, right? Japan has completely run out of Pokemon cards. The Pokemon Company dropped a new expansion pack for the trading card game back in April 14th, which was centered around Scarlet and Violet's 4 Treasures of Ruin, with the game's Paldia region. The new packs offer, as some collectors put it, the most expensive card we've basically seen to date, as Iono now has a special illustration rare card. As reported by fans, these are 2 of the most hyped sets we've ever seen, and that the line for the set's midnight release in Akihabara, Tokyo, was reportedly insane. The Pokemon Deals community on Twitter alleged that initial quotes for cases of Clayburst and Snow Hazard are going for $3,600, with Iono in particular running for some $1,255 in Japan. Things have clearly gone out of hand, so much so that the Pokemon Company has issued a statement to let fans and collectors know that they are currently out of stock of all Pokemon cards. The post included an apology for the inconvenience and a promise to bolster production systems. It's unclear when things will calm down. These certainly are difficult times to try to live up to the lifestyle of gotta catch them all in Japan. But regardless, I commend you all and wish you good luck in your Pokemon card hunting endeavors. Star Wars Jedi Survivor inundated with bad Steam reviews. Giant Day 1 patch. Something I hope stops happening every month. Star Wars Jedi Survivor came out Friday, April 28th, and to everyone's horror, it is also facing tons of issues on PC, which has now resulted in a massive torrent of negative Steam reviews complaining about poor performance, while some even waiting to install an enormous 128GB update after preloading the game's initial 155GB. The game currently sits at mostly negative with over 2,200 reviews on Steam, with only around 35% of players reporting a positive time with the game. The main issues appear to be random frame rate dips, even on medium settings with mid to high-end GPUs. Some even report they are struggling to hit 60 FPS while playing at 1080p resolution, and several game crashes. What's worse, some who preloaded the game had to basically re-download and install the game from scratch. Players on Reddit also report that the Steam version is copying files, seemingly requiring over 250 GB of space to properly expand and complete the patch installation. Sadly, this has become the norm, especially with AAA titles, and most of all with EA. Post-launch cleanup has become commonplace, but this has been happening way too often lately, with high-profile messes like Callisto Protocol, Wolong Fallen Dynasty, and, as we saw in March, The Last of Us Part 1. This is incredibly sad because early reviews for Jedi Survivor are stellar. People report an amazing game that, very much like others on that list, is marred by terrible PC optimization. And now, a quick update on the Microsoft Activision saga. This week, the UK's Competition and Markets Authority delivered its verdict on the company's proposed acquisition of Activision Blizzard. Nope. It was a big nope. Brad Smith, Microsoft's president, after momentarily losing his marbles over the verdict, took to Twitter to announce the latest partnership. The deal brings Xbox PC games to the EU-based Enware streaming service, as well as Activision Blizzard titles after the acquisition closes. Other partners include Nvidia GeForce, EE, Boosteroid, and Ubitus, in an attempt to appease the regulators' concerns about monopolizing the cloud gaming market. The appeal against the CMA's decision is coming, and well, Microsoft has all the money in the world to throw at obstacles it faces. The big three bosses Microsoft faces are the EU, UK, and the US. The EU is yet to deliver verdict, and we now know what the UK CMA thinks, and the US Federal Trade Commission has begun a legal challenge to the takeover. The plot thickens! Exciting times ahead, indeed. Thank the Dark Ones! Cult of the Lamb is getting a big free DLC update this month. Dark prayers have been answered in the form of a DLC for Cult of the Lamb. It came out this month, and best of all, it's free! Honestly, that's worth sacrificing more villagers for. Relics of the Old Faith was bestowed upon people and their quivering followers on April 24th, according to the blurb from publisher Developer Digital. The update features a brand new post-game storyline, new follower forms to evolve into, photo mode, and more. It's always exciting when great indie games provide us with more amazing content that will keep us hooked for more hours of gameplay, which will in no way involve ritually sacrificing followers and disposing of them in the composter. Oddly specific. And with this, the April recap comes to an end. We have done 2 months in a row! Yay us! I will be back at the end of May to update you on the comings and goings in gaming. Again, if there are any stories you think I should cover next month, reach out to me on Twitter. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you think. Will we see the Microsoft Activision deal completed in our lifetime? Will there ever be enough Pokemon cards to satiate collectors? Probably not. Feel free to comment down below. I'd like to know what you think. I am Asterion, and I will see you on the next video.